I cannot imagine not taking action. And that is because the identity that I have is of a business owner that makes money. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that every single week I am going to make money. And that certainty and that belief is what gets me to make lots of money. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. My loves, before I dive into today's episode, I just want to tell you that there has been a name change to one of my signature programs, and that is the From Imposter to Empowered program is getting a different name, has a different name. I changed everything last month, and that is The Real Deal. We have changed the From Imposter to Empowered program to The Real Deal, so now we don't need to be confused when I'm talking about the podcast. And it just felt like this change was a long time coming. I feel like it's a lot catchier, and I feel like it really exemplifies this space and the women who are inside of the program who are the real deal. So I originally had a mastermind that was called The Real Deal, but now it is the program name that was originally the From Imposter to Empowered program. So from here on out, and you'll see on my socials and all of that, you will see me talking about The Real Deal, and that is the group program that used to be the From Imposter to Empowered program. So I just wanted to give you that update. And if you have any questions at all about joining The Real Deal, I would love to have a chat with you over in my DMs. This is where you're going to overcome imposter syndrome, self-doubt, all the mindset shit that is getting in the way of signing high-ticket clients, of making more money in your business. We rewire those subconscious beliefs that are holding you back. We create this seamless and easy strategy so you can show up, so you can sell with clarity, so you can call in those clients who are meant to do this work with you, because you are the real fucking deal at what you do. So head over to Instagram at your coach Jill and send me a DM, and let's see if this group program is a good fit for you. And today's podcast episode is inspired by one of my clients in The Real Deal. And when she was asking a question in our Telegram Q&A, so we have a Telegram channel where my clients share wins, where they get copy and content reviews, where they can also ask questions and get coaching on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So not only do you get that, but then we also have 2 coaching calls per month inside of the Real Deal group coaching program. So she was in Telegram one of the days, and she was talking about how she kind of like fell off of creating her content. She had only ever gotten clients from word of mouth and referral before. So her coming into The Real Deal was really about her being like, okay, I'm building an online presence. I'm building a following. Like, I am really scaling the fuck out of this thing. And when she was talking about how she kind of fell off, and then I can't recall the exact other thing that she asked, but how I responded was completely different than what you would expect when it comes to, okay, what's the strategy to uploading posts and creating content, blah, 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 blah. And how I talked to this client, and the message that I really wanted to get across to this client was that it is an identity that a lot of people don't align with when it comes to being online. When you create an online business, a lot of people can do it, but not a lot of people are realizing that it is an identity that you are stepping into. So for example, I would never forget to sell each day, or like forget to talk to my clients. And again, this is not me saying like, oh my God, this client forgot, blah, blah, blah. She is like in those beginning stages, right? So I was having a conversation with her around like, okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to step into the identity of somebody that is an online business owner, because a lot of people don't realize that the strategy is going to fall flat if you yourself are not aligned with the identity of somebody who does that like it's second nature, who sells their offer like they really fucking believe in it. A lot of people are going through the motions because that's what they were taught. They were taught marketing, they were taught selling, they were taught say these words, they were taught this, they were taught that. But another piece of this is the identity. It is you identifying as somebody who is an online business owner who shows up and sells her offers, and not just somebody who has an Instagram or who has a TikTok or who has an email list. And this is the work that is going to make you so much money. This is the work that is going to have people seeing you as a leader instead of you thinking that you would rather be led, instead of you being a follower, is you actually identifying with the version of you who is successful at running her business and is successful at it now. Because if you really put yourself into a situation where, okay, in 6 months, in 3 months, I am running my business, I'm working with clients, I'm coaching clients, I am doing this, doing that behind the scenes, you also have to identify as that person. And that person would not hesitate on selling every single day. That person would be getting up and doing the EFT tapping or doing the meditation. And for a while, this feels like actions that you're consciously having to take. But if you have been listening to the podcast for a long time, I have talked about those different stages of competence. And I believe you start with unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you're bad at the thing that you're doing, right? That's usually how it starts. And then we go to conscious incompetence. You realize, oh my God, I actually don't know how to fucking do a lot of these things when it comes to growing a business and showing up and selling and blah, 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 blah. And then we go into conscious competence. So it's taking up a lot of mental stimulation because you have to think about the things you're doing. You have to think about showing up and selling. You have to think about what are the words do I use to sell this offer. You have to think about, okay, you know what? I'm feeling kind of off. I'm feeling kind of weird. I'm going to do some EFT tapping. I'm going to do some journaling. This isn't what I'm used to, but it is what that future version of me would be doing, right? And then we move to unconscious competence. And that is when you are fully aligned in the identity and it's just who you fucking are. So even though it sounds kind of silly, like, okay, align myself to an identity of like an online business owner, like showing up and selling, yes, because that is who you are, and the future version of you, that version of you in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, who is making the money she wants to make, who's working with clients. Like if you were to look behind you on your timeline, you would see all of the days that you're showing up, that you're selling your offer, that you're gaining the clarity each day to say it in a more concise and clear way, to talk about your offer in 10 different ways, right? You would see all of those things. And a lot of the time, the reason why somebody is not aligning to an identity that they say that they want is because a lot of these things are uncomfortable. And that's why it's called conscious incompetence, because you're conscious of it and you're like, oh my God, like I do have to show up and sell today. Okay, I do have to create this content and schedule it for the next week if I want content to come out. There is a time period where you forget things or you think to not do this or not do that. And it can feel like there are a lot of things that you need to do to keep your online business afloat. But to make it easier, you simply have to align yourself to the identity and be like, okay, but would that version of me that is making the money, that's signing the clients, that's making the 10K month, the 15K month, the 20K month, it's such an easy question to ask yourself. And whenever I get in a funk, whenever I feel like I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing right now or what I'm supposed to be focused on, whenever I start to have those thoughts, I think, okay, what would 50K a month Jill be doing right now? And I really think about that and I think, oh yeah, she would not even be questioning to create that email sequence. She would be doing this. She would be hiring that person. She would be doing this. She would be coaching her clients in this way. She would not be creating content that said those things because she's actually calling in clients who are ready to do the work, blah, 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 right? Like you could say it in a million different ways. There are also a lot of personal things that 50K a month Jill would be doing, right? Like how I take care of myself, the workouts I would be doing, how I'd be spending free time, all of these things. Again, it's such a simple conversation. I think a lot of people have it constantly where they talk about you have to get into the identity, but like, even though it's so simple, a lot of people still don't do it. They're still operating from their current identity. And something that was really like drilled into me during my certification in neuro-linguistic programming, so learning how to rewire the subconscious mind, was how it was like kind of like a triangle, and at the foundation of it, at the foundation of any change, I think it was like the logical levels of change. It was something like that. But at the bottom of the triangle was identity. That is the foundation. When you believe you are something, that is how you act. And that is why we want to release the shame. That is why we want to release the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the not feeling good enough. The stories that we tell ourselves about who we are matter, because who we are is how we act. And like, it's so funny because I think about when sometimes I coach clients and they are having a really hard time taking action. And that is like a huge part of a lot of the coaching that I do, is the reason why we don't do things, or the reason why we avoid, is because of our fears, because of how we're self-sabotaging. That could be a flavor of self-sabotage. It could be because of imposter syndrome. It could be because we don't want to feel bad, right? These are a lot of things that I talked about in the Fraud Detox, which is $33, and you can get that. It's a 4-day live challenge, and you can see that at the link in my show notes. For those of you who did not jump in when it was live, all the recordings are available, and it is fire, so highly recommend that. But there are a lot of reasons why you could avoid doing things or not take the action. But to me, when I feel something, or when I think something, or when it comes to the business, I cannot imagine not taking action. And that is because the identity that I have is of a business owner that makes money. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that every single week I am going to make money. And that certainty and that belief is what gets me to make lots of money. And it has me taking different actions and moving in a different way. Even if I'm taking the exact same actions as somebody who isn't making money, the certainty and the belief and the identity is still there. And I think this is relevant to the conversation that I sometimes have to have with new clients around commitment to the business, because for the longest time, I would sign clients who were not committed, who would be like, yeah, like, you're kind of like my Hail Mary. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do this. And I would selfishly take them on, be like, I can fix them. Oh my God, thank God I didn't have an opportunity to like really date, because I am convinced that I would have been fucked around so hard, because I'm like, I will fix this man, even though it's not my responsibility to fucking fix anybody. So I just transfer that over to the business, right? And I would try to save people and be like, no, like, you need to be doing this. Nope. If people are not committed to their business, that is none of my business. It really isn't. I am not here to want your business more than you need to want your business, right? So for the longest time, I would sign those people thinking that I need to hold on to it for them. And when I had that realization that I was holding on to a business tighter than somebody else was when it was their own business, I really had to release that grip on the business, on that client, and on the need to save somebody. But again, that commitment to my business comes from the identity that I have, that like I identify as somebody that has a successful online business and that sees this as a career. And even that is something that if you are newer and you're coming into the online space and you're listening to this episode and you're like, yeah, like I just started within the last year, within the last 2 years, you need to check in with, are you half in and half out? And not in like a bad way, but kind of in a way of, well, I don't know if this is going to work out, because you have to be committed to it for it to work out. And I truly think that energy and belief and certainty is associated to, are you going to dip if things get hard? And I also really believe that potential clients can feel that too. Like that lack of authenticity in terms of like, there are so many people that I would never pay because I see their content or I see how they show up, if they even show up at all. And I think to myself, this is giving like they don't expect to be here in the next year. And like, think about somebody paying you thousands of dollars to work with you if you're not even committed to being here, if you have like a dry spell over the next couple of months or what the fuck ever. You need to think about that. You need to think about the fact that people are trusting you. And again, not in a bad way, but people are trusting you and you need to be somebody who is trustworthy. And I think it's fucking crazy when people come into the online space and they're like, I need to be making a ton of money within like a short amount of time. It's possible 1,000%, but like, are you 1,000% in, or are you going to dip whenever there's some minor inconvenience that happens even behind the scenes, right? Like, we all need to take time off. We all need to rest. It's super important. We all need to take care of ourselves and our families, but there are a lot of people that haven't seen success because they come in and out of the online space when things happen behind the scenes or when life gets busy or when life gets hard. And I get it, but you realize that you are eroding trust when you do that. And somebody who identifies as like an online business owner that has a successful business, that is running a successful business, that has clients, they do not do that. They have contingency plans. They figure their shit out. They are resilient. And that is something that I think people can feel if you are not all fucking in. But I know you're all in. I know that you're the real fucking deal. And I know that you know the identity is the other half of it. It's the identity and the strategy, but the strategy is not going to hit if your identity is not aligned with that successful business owner, with an identity of somebody who makes a lot of money, right? Like, there are probably a lot of beliefs and thoughts that you have around you being able to call in money, you being able to hold it, what your stories were as a kid and your childhood, and all of the things that contribute to you being able to sign high ticket clients and make the damn money. And that is exactly what we work on inside of the Real Deal group coaching program, where you are going to develop that online business owner identity. You are going to identify as a person that has a successful online business, have the mindset, the belief, the thoughts of somebody that signs high ticket clients and has a successful business that has a solid fucking foundation. Inside of this program too, it's not just the mindset and the subconscious reprogramming. We also have the strategy, the content, the sales, the launching. This truly is a container that combines it both. That is a question I get often. Like, is there a strategy inside of the Real Deal? Yes, 1,000%. There is my course on content. There is my course on sales. There's my course on launching. We talk content, we talk messaging, we talk all of the things when it comes to your offers. And this is just the group program that you've been looking for, because also it is not just the strategy, here's the thing you do, but it is who are you being, how are you thinking, how are you moving as the person who has the successful business that you want. So come and join us inside of the Real Deal Group Coaching Program, formerly the From Imposter to Empowered program. And I can't wait to welcome you in. You can join for 3, 6, or 12 months. And I will talk to you on Instagram. You can send me a DM at Your Coach Jill.